Bernie Madoff ran the largest financial fraud in human history for at least 17 years. He stole $65 billion, not from strangers, from his friends, his family, charities, Holocaust survivors. And here's the detail that should keep you up at night. People tried to expose him. A financial analyst told the SEC repeatedly with mathematical proof that Madoff's returns were impossible. The SEC investigated and found nothing. Twice.
In late 2008, a wave of economic panic shook the global financial system. Markets were in free fall and credit was frozen, leaving the public searching for someone to blame for the collapse. Yet inside a single office on Wall Street, a much more specific disaster was beginning to surface. That office belonged to Bernie Madoff. He wasn't a fringe player, he was a titan of finance, a respected philanthropist, and a former chairman of the Nasdaq who had helped build the architecture of the modern market. On December 9th, Madoff confessed to his two sons that his legendary investment firm was one big lie. He hadn't been trading stocks for years. Instead, he had manufactured a $65 billion Ponzi scheme. This wasn't a hidden operation. Madoff executed a massive crime in plain sight, maintaining the illusion for decades while powerful regulators watched it grow. While major institutions lost billions, the collapse also consumed the life savings of retirees, teachers, and small business owners. The philanthropic damage was particularly severe. Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel's foundation lost $15 million, forcing it to scale back its humanitarian work. Smaller charities, from local community groups to the Equal Justice Initiative, saw their entire endowments vanish. Madoff operated under the direct jurisdiction of the SEC, mailing out official monthly statements that detailed a complex but consistent investment strategy to every one of these victims. The question remains, how does a mathematically impossible illusion survive for 20 years right under the nose of the US government? Madoff found his victims in high society country clubs and elite insular wealth circles. He utilized affinity fraud, weaponizing his shared heritage and philanthropic status to bypass the skepticism of his own community. In these circles, a handshake from Bernie Madoff was considered better than a background check. He cultivated an aura of exclusivity, making his fund appear so elite that investors essentially begged him to take their money. By treating his fraud as a privilege, he encouraged his victims to waive their own due diligence. He was supported by feeder funds, institutional intermediaries that funneled billions of client dollars to Madoff, while ignoring basic red flags just to collect lucrative management fees. Madoff's primary defense relied on the manipulation of human trust and the willful blindness of institutional greed. In 1999, a quantitative analyst named Harry Markopolos was asked to replicate Madoff's strategy. Within minutes, he realized the numbers were fabricated. Markopolos noted Madoff's performance graph was an impossibly perfect 45-degree angle. While the actual market was jagged, Madoff reported steady gains with 0 losing months. This resulted in a Sharpe ratio that was statistically impossible to maintain in volatile markets for over a decade. Markopolos also found a physical impossibility. There were not enough options trading on the Chicago Board Options Exchange to support the volume Madoff claimed. Markopolos delivered this proof to the SEC in a 2005 memo explicitly titled, "The World's Largest Hedge Fund is a Fraud." The government received the specific mathematical proof of the crime years before the collapse, shifting the story from one of a clever mastermind to one of a failed watchdog. The SEC is the ultimate authority responsible for protecting investors, yet the agency repeatedly ignored Markopolos' detailed warnings between 2000 and 2008. Investigations were siloed. Separate regional teams looked at Madoff, but lacked the internal communication required to share their findings or connect the dots. Many investigators were junior lawyers, lacking the technical expertise to understand Markopolos' quantitative analysis or options trading. This created a halo effect. Intimidated by Madoff's Wall Street prestige, investigators deferred to his reputation rather than aggressively interrogating his data. Most damning of all, through 2 decades of examinations, the SEC never once contacted an independent third party to verify if Madoff's trades actually existed. An institutional culture of deference prioritized reputation and bureaucracy over the basic empirical verification of the facts. The scheme only ended when the 2008 market crash triggered a wave of withdrawals that Madoff could no longer cover with new money. The collapse left a trail of shuttered charities, wiped out pensions, and devastating suicides. The scandal exposed the danger of informational asymmetry, where a lack of transparency allows unchecked power to operate without accountability. The Madoff case proves that in a system built on blind trust, the most dangerous predators wear tailored suits, sit on regulatory boards, and hide their crimes in plain sight.
Bernie Madoff ran the largest financial fraud in human history for at least 17 years. He stole $65 billion, not from strangers, from his friends, his family, charities, Holocaust survivors. And here's the detail that should keep you up at night. People tried to expose him. A financial analyst told the SEC repeatedly with mathematical proof that Madoff's returns were impossible. The SEC investigated and found nothing. Twice.